I've said this about Bill Belichick, is that Bill wants to win, but on his terms now. Didn't always used to be like that. Bill only wants to coach certain players. He won't relinquish personnel duties. That's not sacrifice. That's not collaborative. That's not all in on winning. That's actually selfish. I've said this about NFL owners, a majority of them. They're not about winning. They're about winning on their terms, not relinquishing power. Jerry Jones needs to call himself a general manager. Let's be honest, kind of silly. We don't think he's the general manager. This article in The Athletic, 30 sources. Many had to be anonymous. They didn't want to get whacked. They're on the staff. 30 sources. Paints a picture that Aaron Rodgers is very much the same thing. Aaron wants to win on his terms, but it's secondary to Aaron being comfortable. Here we go. The article points out 30 sources. It is a team with an ill-equipped offensive coordinator, Nat Hackett, an excuse-making, paranoid head coach, and an organizational tunnel vision on a quarterback that rubbed many teammates the wrong way. It's such an effing mess, said one coach. Something has to change. Here's the really interesting part to me. Rodgers and Nat Hackett's relationship, this is something I've been told, is more frat bro than player coach. And Rodgers Aaron appreciates the free will to sort of operate the system as he sees fit. During camp, New York's defensive line's excellent, outplayed him in practice every day. One coach on the staff said it was concerning how little urgency Hackett and his staff showed in trying to fix it. He'd never seen a team watch less practice tape in training camp than the Jets' offense did with Hackett. Consider Aaron was new there. They had all these new pieces. During games, Hackett struggled to make adjustments. Against the Cowboys week 2, Dwayne Brown needed help blocking Micah Parsons. According to multiple team sources, Hackett never adjusted. Parsons dominated. Cowboys crushed the Jets 30-10. The story goes on. Basically, now Saleh has stepped in to oversee it. There is no confidence that Hackett has the ability by himself to run the offense. So again, Aaron wants to win as long as he's comfortable, not pushed, not challenged, and it's with his frat buddy. This is why Bill Belichick couldn't get a job and why Aaron going forward, I've predicted, will be irrelevant. Lamar Jackson's crying on the field when he loses. Mahomes is pushed hard, often having verbal exchanges with Andy Reid and formerly Eric Bieniemy. Being coached hard, being uncomfortable, growth. Now, when Brady went to Tampa, you could say, well, Tom wanted certain things. Yes. A Hall of Fame tight end in Gronk that was still great in big games and a bit of a wacko, but Hall of Fame talent, Antonio Brown, and a veteran running back, Lenny Fournette. He didn't want second and third expensive wide receivers. He didn't want old guys who couldn't play anymore or buddies. Tom wanted guys who could still in big games bring it, not Alan Lazard, who was a healthy scratch late in the season and expensive. Again, why Belichick can't get a gig and why Aaron is not relevant. You've got to be able to sacrifice, collaborate, and win on terms that aren't always yours. You don't always get your way in this league. Add in a defensive head coach. We know for the 5th straight Super Bowl, offensive coach versus offensive coach. The story went on with 30 sources saying it's not uncommon for team decisions to go through Aaron Rodgers, said an NFL general manager. Rodgers isn't the assistant GM. Joe Douglas is the assistant GM. So I'll say it again. I didn't think they'd be a playoff team this year. I don't think they're a playoff team next year. You win upstairs first. Ugly, sad, inability to be uncomfortable. So I'm watching the Warriors-Sixers last night. That's a nice game. But the Warriors are 19-24. It's what they are. And I've always found it's really interesting to watch dynasties and how clunky it is when they end. Michael Jordan's Bulls, they did a doc on it. LeBron decided in Miami, I'm just going to leave. Not really give anybody a heads up. I think the Spurs did about as good a job with a graceful exit as you can do. But even then, as they were pivoting to the new world, he couldn't get along with Kawhi Leonard and shipped him to Toronto for a bag of chips mostly. Greg Popovich got in the way of Greg Popovich. When it comes to the Warriors, it's time to rip the Band-Aid off with everybody except Steph Curry and possibly, based on what the analytics say and the coach says, Draymond Green. You move everybody else. Now, I push back a little, but there's an argument to be made when the Warriors beat the Celtics in that finals. Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson, top of the market, time to move them. But I understand that's tough. You'd want a finals, you want to run it back, you break up the Splash Brothers, but you'd seen the inconsistency of that roster all year before winning. But this idea, can we move off Klay Thompson? Yes. He'll still be beloved. He'll still be part of the greatest shooting backcourt ever. He'll get a statue. Time heals all wounds. Brett Favre chose to play for a division rival, the Vikings. Still beloved in Green Bay. Shaq wore a Celtics jersey. The Fab Five just reunited. Take a deep breath. But this idea, do we break them up? Like fans are going to sell their season tickets if the team trades Klay Thompson or moves off Andrew Wiggins. I mean, I would keep Steph without a question. And I've said before, I do think as a defensive catalyst, the numbers bear it out. This is an average defensive team without Draymond, good with him to very good. You got to keep your top defensive player. But this is how dynasties struggle. Do we rip the Band-Aid off? The answer is always yes. You don't win in this league on nostalgia. You don't win clinging to the past. You don't win romanticizing 4 years ago, ever, under any circumstances. The league's getting younger. It's getting more European. They need more size. The Wiseman thing didn't work. But the idea that the fans would be outraged, they would build Klay a well-deserved statue. I can almost name it now. There'll be a Splash Brothers statue. Steph's statue will be a little taller than Klay's, but he'll still be beloved, like Favre is in Green Bay and like Shaq is still in Los Angeles. Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.